I would like to thank Helen Short for sending me this story, and we have another one of those blame a black man or blame an imaginary black man type story. So here in this picture, you have a man by the name of Dennis Martinez who has just been sentenced to 10 years in jail for murder. Now, this guy did not just murder a random person. He actually murdered someone who he's pretty much known his entire life. This man murdered his own brother, and then had the nerve to try to blame not one, but two imaginary black men, and saying that they were the ones responsible for his death. I'm going to go ahead and read this article coming from Atlanta Black Star. It says, a Bronx man who fatally stabbed his younger brother then tried to blame the killing, not on two, but three imaginary black men will spend the next 10 years of his life behind bars. He should have got more. What they should have did was give him, if they was going to give him 10 years, they should have gave him like 20 or 30 for the killing and 10 years per imaginary black man that he said did this to his brother, and gave him 60 years. But we know how this works. Dennis Martinez, age 53, was sentenced on Tuesday to 10 years in prison for murdering his 36-year-old brother, Jorge Martinez, during an argument in March 2016. So this is not a recent case. As reported by the New York Daily News, a teary-eyed Martinez pleaded with Bronx Supreme Court Judge Lester Adler to receive the lowest possible time for killing his siblings, saying his actions will haunt him forever. He was my dearest brother, said Martinez, who was found guilty of manslaughter last month. Well, that's why they gave him 10 years. I tried to raise him the best way I could. I was only 13 when he came into my life. I loved him and I'm going to miss him a great deal. I pray every day for forgiveness for what happened. Adler wasn't buying it, however, and threw the book at the Bronx man for concocting a false story about the events of that night. So it looks like it's a judge up there that actually gives a damn. Now, the reason why I say that is because we have had so many stories over the course of decades where you've had white people kill family members, friends, shoot household pets, and blame it on an imaginary fictitious black man. And rarely would the judge, such as the one in this case, take their pleas seriously. But as you saw from what I just read, they weren't buying it because they falsified the entire story. Now, who knows what the judge would have leaned towards had he not falsified any evidence or anything with this story, or did what he did. I still believe he should have got way more than 10 years because of the falsification of the evidence or the case itself, and for the actual killing of his brother. But let me continue. Now, this is what the judge said. You just said that you have nightmares concerning the death of your brother. I have some trouble with that because within seconds of stabbing him, you contrived a story, made up a story of 3 black males attacking you and your brother in the hallway. Prosecutors said Martinez stabbed his brother to death in the apartment they shared at Castle Hill Houses on March 4th, 2016. Martinez was reportedly angry that Martinez was too loud and had woken him up. An argument ensued and Martinez pulled out a knife, stabbing his brother in the chest, back, and right leg. Martinez's lawyer, Daniel Mincer, acknowledged his client's actions were wrong, but claimed Martinez became violent after having a few drinks. The man that Dennis Martinez encountered that morning in his bedroom was a man who had been drinking, no doubt about that. I'm not suggesting that he hasn't done anything. He could have kicked his brother out, but he didn't. He has a responsibility that he needs to bear, and he will. Meanwhile, Martinez's family left the courtroom angry and in tears. For them, a 10-year sentence wasn't enough for the murder of their loved one. Prosecutors were seeking the maximum 25 years as punishment. There was no justice today. He did not get justice today, said Martinez's ex-wife, Deborah Mercado. We're all sad. You let a man pretty much walk and do whatever he wants with his life, whereas another man's life was cut short. Annalise Martinez, the victim's 17-year-old daughter, slammed her uncle for taking my hero away from me. My father did nothing but love, care, and worry about his brother, Dennis Martinez, who caused the hurt and pain of many. I'm their voice, and I will always be their voice because after the death of my father, I know how it feels not to have a voice. I agree with the family. 10, like I said, 10 years, that is a legit slap on the wrist. Like, this guy murdered his own brother because he said he was too loud, and then made up a story saying 3 black men attacked him and his brother and then killed his brother. Like I said, the more they keep doing this, the more or less credible they're getting. Now, I will say this. Lately, I've noticed that many white people who concoct that imaginary black figure attacked them or tried to kill them or did kill someone when it was their white ass that did it, I'm noticing that they're starting to not believe that story as much as they did maybe say 10 more years ago. If this was like 2008 and beyond, they probably would believe it in a heartbeat. But I think they're starting to realize that this story is becoming so commonplace. And it's happening way too often. And usually the narrative doesn't line up or match with the crime. All he had to do was just own up and say what he did, and that'll be that. But I do agree that 10 years is not enough time for what he did. And to only give him manslaughter is an even more slap on the wrist. Like, this guy murdered. This was for, well, I wouldn't say first degree murder. I would say murder in the second degree. Because it's not like he planned to kill his brother. It just happened. But at the same time, he killed him. This was not manslaughter at all. But, you know, it is what it is. But I hope these are a long, nasty 10 years for him. Hopefully if they're lucky, he doesn't walk out of there. Hopefully they don't say, oh, we're going to let him out early on good behavior. No, fuck all that. This man not only killed someone that was his own brother, his own flesh and blood, but he could also put 3 innocent black men, no matter how they looked, in danger. Because notice in this article, it didn't say anything about him giving a description. Of course, he probably gave that description back when this case first appeared 2 years ago, but I didn't know anything about it. So this is new to me. But y'all let me know what you think down in the comments about this story. Like, share, subscribe. The links will be in the description. I'll talk to you in the next one.